Hello, everyone. Thanks for making our time to join. We'll be getting started right about now. I'm Samuel Bangbola, a better Microsoft Learn student ambassador, and I'll be your host for today's event on transforming UI UX designs with the help of AI. Not specifically UI UX designs in general. So we'll be covering a lot of things, right? Just like you saw in the description for the meeting. Along with me, we have Favor Owen, who is a UI UX designer.
Is that a reason why the voice is calling out?
Yeah, Samuel, I think you're muted if you're trying to speak.
I'm very, very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. So let me go over again. So I said, thank you very much. Thank you very much for pointing out Kenan. I'm Samuel Bangbola, a better Microsoft Learn student ambassador. And then I'll be your host for today's event on transforming UI UX designs with the help of AI. But then today we'll not just be focusing on UI UX designs, we're focusing on designs generally, right? So it's very open. And along with me, we have Favor Owen, who is a UI UX designer, and then Kinan Zuka, a senior software engineer at Kojo Technologies. We would get to know more about Kinan along the line. So just a brief introduction to um, of Kinan. So he's currently a senior software engineer at Kojo Technologies, a Series C construction technology startup based in San Francisco. So he has a lot of experience in designing and developing user-friendly software. He's a graduate of Olin College of Engineering, studied software engineering, and like he has a strong foundation in software engineering and graphic design. So he's passionate about using AI tools, just like you can see here. And then for the sessions today, we'll be having two major sessions, which is the first is efficient design solutions, leveraging AI tools for UI UX, will be taken by Favor Owen. And then the second will be creating a design portfolio website using Chat GPT. So I think someone is raising their hand. Do you have a question or something?
Yes, I have a question. Where you from, Mr. Samuel?
I'm from Nigeria.
Awesome, me too. But I was born and raised in Togo.
Oh, that's great. Nice meeting you. Thanks for
Yeah,
joining in. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, but just before we move into the first session, right, I'll be doing a brief introduction of the Microsoft Designer and Power Apps. But before that, I just want to point out the prerequisite for Kenan's session, right? So we can see here where you have for Kenan's session, which I already described, right, will be focusing on building a portfolio website using ChatGPT. But then you need some prerequisites, you need some things installed to actually like follow through along. So these are the details here, right? I don't want to take too much of our time and waiting for us to go through this, but for those that would be following through on Kenan's session, you can just head over to my LinkedIn page, Bangola Samuel, and it's just the last post I made. So once you go to my LinkedIn page, you'll see this and link. This link just redirects you to this, which I just opened. So yeah.
Hey, I have a quick question. Do we
Okay.
have do we need um, Chat GPT subscription to follow along with today's
Not at
meeting?
all. Not at all. You just need
Okay,
the free service, the one open for everyone to use. You don't need the premium version.
sure, no problem. Thank you, sir. I'm about to follow you on LinkedIn real quick.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So now we'll be getting started. AI and design, which is what we're focusing on today. So AI, or artificial intelligence, is a field of technology that aims to create intelligent machines that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. So I think AI is a very popular topic at the moment, with a buzz around ChatGPT. Around December, we had something done AI that creates cartoons of faces and so many other things. So there's this buzz around AI, and then want to see how we can actually apply it in our design or in our design solutions. So we know design refers to the creation of visual elements or user interface, right, for aesthetics basically, or mainly. So from your graphics designs for flyers and so many other things to your user interface designs for maybe mobile apps or websites or different things. Design has so many applications today. So now when we combine AI and design, we can create some truly amazing things, right? AI can help designers automate repetitive tasks, generate design ideas, and so many other things, right? This particular image you're seeing here was actually created by an AI tool called DAL-E, which is an AI model by OpenAI. So you can see, and this is very realistic, describing design and trying to relate design with AI. So you can see the brain representation with someone drawing or painting. This was created by an AI tool. So we can see that the applications of AI in design are, I would say, almost limitless at the moment, but we just need to tap into that. And that's what today's meeting will be focusing on. So first, like I mentioned, the Microsoft Designer, right? It's a new, well, I wouldn't say new. It was launched last year, late last year, but it's actually kind of open now. It has gained some traction and it's open for preview use, right? So it's a graphic design app that helps you create professional quality social media posts, invitations, digital postcards, graphics, and so much more, so much more. And the beautiful thing about it is that you don't actually have to like design this thing from scratch. You can create them with prompts, right? I would show us a video of like a demo of how the Microsoft Designer works. So yeah, that's just basically a description of how the Microsoft Designer works, right? Just with prompts, you can create designs. You don't necessarily have to like type everything from scratch. I will show us a brief demo, but before I do that, I think Blaze has a question.
No, I don't. I just unchecked the hand raise.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. So yeah, we can like I was trying to explain, we can create all these designs, right? Just from, so let's say for example, for today's event now, let me say a a flyer on an event titled transforming, let me say designs, or but let me use the exact topic we have, right? UX designs with the help of AI. Right? So yeah, just describe like it says, describe anything. So we can see how beautiful this is. I mean, these are some amazing, amazing designs. These are some amazing designs. We can view this. You can customize design, like customize the design. Let's say you're not satisfied with some things, you can actually open it in full, edit out some things that you want to change or different things. Maybe you want to customize the image, you want to add your own certain picture, or you want to change the text, or you want to reformat. It's just amazing. This alone is an amazing design on it, like first-hand generation, and we have something this beautiful. So different things. You have a vast array of options, right? With these designs, so many options. You can check out. Apologies. You review the other designs that you might have created. So many other things you can check. Change text, like I mentioned. Um, you could actually even generate a video with this, right? You could generate a video with this. You could download. Just for example, instead of maybe you are trying to work out with some AI tools or something, and maybe it's not really free, and you try to maybe screenshot or something. This is nothing like the image you get is clear, that you can download it directly from your designs. You can switch and change, generate new ideas. You can touch, retouch, just explore, right? And currently the designer tool is available for preview, so anyone can join in. And previously you needed a whitelist, right, to be able to access it, but right now you can just go to the website, right, and then just designer.microsoft.com and create an account, explore this tool for newbies in design, for people that just want to generate a clean or just a random thing instead of designing from scratch, right? You can use this tool for creating your designs, So the flyer on an event titled transforming, right, UI UX designs with help of AI. Okay, so I just want to quickly show this again, so we can, you can review other options. You can see that it doesn't actually generate the same image. This is similar to we saw one of these in the previous designs. You can check out, okay, this is one of the ones that were generated earlier. You can see so many options that you can pick from and edit and do all whatever things you want to do with it. So this is an amazing tool you should try out. This is basically AI in design, and AI and design, and is a perfect tool for newbies or anyone actually to leverage. So yeah, that will be it on a Microsoft Designer. And just before we move to the first session, I want to briefly talk on the Power Apps with UI UX design. So I don't know how many of us are familiar with Microsoft Power Apps, but it is a low-code platform that allows users to create custom business applications, right, without requiring extensive coding knowledge. So it offers a variety of templates, connectors, and visual design tools to enable users to create web and mobile apps quickly. So it's just all encompassing, right? But with low code, basically, you are not really writing any code. So for designers, this is actually a very beautiful tool we could actually pick up and learn the details about it. So the major thing about Power Apps I want to discuss with us is integrating it with Figma, right? So by using the Figma UI toolkit in Power Apps, you can easily import Figma designs into your Power Apps platform and convert them into functional applications. So just imagine you converting your designs to an application without doing any code, maybe just some tweaks and some touches here, and you're good to go without writing any code, without meeting one developer to do this or do that. You are creating a functional application just by creating your designs using the Figma UI toolkit and Power Apps. right? This allows for a seamless transition from design to development, enabling teams to quickly build and deploy custom applications, so many other things. And these are some sample use cases, right? You can turn your images and designs into apps using AI-powered Express design. So I'll just quickly play this video, right? So what this does is like changing your draft to a UI, like an application, right? Just sketching some things and changing it to an application. Yeah, it's that simple actually. That's simple, right? And then the major thing I actually wanted us to point out today, as regards using Figma with Power Apps, which you already described, right? Converting your designs to applications, right? Let me just briefly show us this, right? Just about 3 minutes, and then just to give us a brief introduction. You'd have access to the slide. So let's say, for example, you want to reference the video um, after the event, you can actually look through.
Feature over. Your Figma design to a Power App using Figma to App. Express Design is a new Power Apps feature that accelerates the process of creating beautiful apps by taking a Figma design file and directly converting it into Power App UI. You can create a new app based on 3 fields: app name, link to Figma page or frame, and Figma personal access token. Let's enter the app name. Your Figma file must be created using the Microsoft Power Apps Create Apps from Figma UI kit to ensure that the Power Apps service can accurately identify and translate the Figma components into the corresponding Power Apps controls. The required toolkit can also be found via the Figma community page. Clicking the Figma UI kit link takes us into the Figma Design Toolkit. After hitting Duplicate, the toolkit will be available in your local Figma files, which you will be able to share to others in your team and organization. This toolkit not only provides the components, it also includes detailed documentation on how to use the UI kit, as well as an example app. It's important to carefully read through the instructions to understand how to correctly use the UI kit to ensure a smooth translation to Power Apps. Designing your app is as simple as going to the Assets tab, identifying the components that you want to use, and dropping the components into a frame. Add additional styling to personalize the properties of the content, such as fill, border, and font style. Once you have designed your application, copy the Figma URL and provide that in the App from Figma window. Lastly, a personal access token is required to authenticate Figma's API service. To get this, click on the Figma logo in the upper left-hand corner to select Help and Account, followed by Account Settings. From there, scroll down to the Personal Access Token section and create a token by adding a new token description. This will give Power Apps read-only access to your Figma file to get the details of your design. You are now ready to select the format you want for your app. Click Create to finish building it in Power Apps. You now have an app with 3 screens that look identical to the original Figma file. Once the app is available in Power Apps Studio, you can add more detailed functionality, like navigation to pages with buttons and connecting data sources to the form. In just a few clicks, we went from Figma to app and converted a visual design to a pixel-perfect Power App. You are invited to learn more about Power Apps at these links and at powerapps.microsoft.com. Thank you for watching.
Okay, yeah, so that's the summary basically on how you can apply Power Apps functionalities to your Figma designs, right? You have some learning paths and resources here to explore. Like I said, these slides are available for you to get access to them. We include them, right? And just this is just the link here, so you can maybe take a screenshot of that, and but you also have access to the recording for this meeting also, so you can get access to the slides through the link below, and all the resources here and the videos, you can have access to them. So that will be it on the brief introduction to AI and designs. And then next we'll be having a session by Favor Owen on efficient design solutions, leveraging AI tools for UI UX. Thank you for sticking with us so far, and I hope you enjoy the next section. And like I mentioned earlier, for the prerequisites for Kenan's session, you can find them here on my LinkedIn page. Just this first link, and then you have access to them. You can check through all the things you need to install before Kenan's session so that you can follow along. Thank you very much. Favor. Yes, so we'll just wait some seconds for him to join in. I think probably network issues.
Stuff, some secrets you can do it. So I'm deep with so
Apologies, please. We'll be joining in about a minute or two for the next session. Thank you. Okay, so apologies. While we are waiting, do we have any questions so far as regards the session I had? Maybe as regards Power Apps or as regards the Microsoft Designer tool, how you can like access it. Okay, Kafaya.
Good evening, Samuel.
Yeah, good evening.
Regarding the designing tools, can it still serve the same purpose as the PowerPoint that is for presentation?
So I think that's finished. So let's be praying. Choose.
I didn't really get your question.
What I'm asking is regarding the designing tools, that is the
Okay.
designing app,
Yeah.
can it serve the purpose of PowerPoint that is in the sense of presentation, in the case of presentation?
Okay, like you want to create presentations with the tool.
Yes.
Well, I've not experimented with that. I've not experimented with that, but I believe that should be possible. All right. So you can actually just generate any prompt. So let me see. I'll try that on my end now and get back to you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Any other questions? Okay, Faith.
Good evening, Samuel. How long has this designer of a thing been available? I want to know. And also, how do I learn the software?
Okay, so it actually it came out for preview use. So previously, like I mentioned, it was just on wait lists. Like you could apply and probably maybe a week or so you'd be granted access to use it too. So it's, let's say in total about a month old or there about maybe a little over a month in terms of use, right? How like people like in terms of people using it. But then the launch has been announced since late last year, but it became more in use now in the last 1 or so months. And then you can just access it through the website directly. You don't actually have to download the application. I mean, I'm not even sure there's an application. So just with designer.microsoft.com, you can access it, do any kind of design you want, edit, make changes, download your images or download your designs, and you're good to go. So you don't actually need to, download anything. I don't know if that answers your question. Okay.
So another thing, I have a question too. Sorry. Can I go on?
Okay. Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Does the designer.microsoft.com of a thing, are you able to design apps on it and then chain them into apps? Like, how do I describe it? Is it like Figma? Then you can now just export it to the Power app and then to convert it on app.
Oh, okay. No, actually, the Microsoft Designer app is just like a normal design tool, right, where you can do your normal maybe graphic designs and other things like that with the help of AI. But then it doesn't really extend to the point of creating UI UX designs with it at the moment. But I don't know. Microsoft might plan to do something um, more with it, but at the moment it's strictly for maybe graphic designs, flyers, different templates and all that.
Okay, I copy. Thank you.
All right. So it seems like Favor is still having some issues with connecting. So we would have Kenan's session now. Apologies for the delay. I hope I don't know if that's convenient for Kenan.
Yeah, that works for me. So yeah, let's jump
Okay,
into
thank
it
you.
then. Let me see if I can share my screen here. Okay, allow. All right, are people seeing my screen right now?
Sure, we can.
Yes, yes.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, bro. Kenan.
Thank you. Cool. This is a presentation about building a portfolio website using ChatGPT as well as React.js. Again, if you would like to follow along, look at that on Samuel's LinkedIn. There's that link that has some of the prerequisites if you want to follow along with me as we do this live demo. So it should be pretty fun. That's the if you've played around with ChatGPT before, you know that it can give a pretty wide variety of answers. So we have no idea what this website's going to look like, but I hope that it is interesting to y'all. And yeah, we'll get into the demo in a little bit. But first, I'll go over a couple slides just for some background. Cool. So yeah, again, if you want to follow along, there's a couple things on your computer. Node.js is the a library that we'll be using, which has a package called Create React App. And we are going to be writing code, but basically ChatGPT is going to be writing all the code for us. And so yeah, there's the link there again. And yeah, here's the agenda in the session. We have about an hour, so I'll do a quick intro about myself. Talk about a portfolio website a little bit, a really brief introduction about the tools, and then we'll jump into the actual workshop. And yeah, here's some images that are generated using DALL-E to what we'll be doing today. The prompt was like creating a portfolio website, and it spit out some pretty interesting results. Hopefully our hands don't look like those people's hands. They're a little with little extra fingers. Anyways, cool. This is me. My name is Keenan. I use he, him pronouns. Like Samuel said, I'm a software engineer at a company called Kojo. We're a startup. I actually did intern at Microsoft in the summer of 2017, so a couple years ago. And yeah, I currently live in San Francisco. And yeah, it's been really fun in the last couple months. Been using a lot of different AI tools like ChatGPT to code in my professional career, but as well as on the side with fun projects such as the one I'll be sharing today. Yeah, so why a portfolio website? A portfolio website is a lot of times it's really common, especially for designers, to showcase the projects that they worked on, the skills that they have, the experience that they have. It really helps kind of stand out when you're applying for positions, internships, full-time positions, all that sort of stuff. And also, as a designer, it's a way to like showcase your own sense of design and potentially, your coding chops. A lot of folks can, have personal websites. They can use tools like Squarespace or Wix to kind of have a no-code solution to building a website, which is great. But with the presence of ChatGPT, like we don't need to use those tools. We can actually build a website from scratch, and you don't need to be a professional software engineer to do so, which I'm excited to show. But I just was doing a little bit of Googling this morning and found a couple examples that I thought were kind of fun of some portfolio websites, because they're often have a kind of similar structure. And so here's one from a designer that I like. Has a cool, there's this kind of cool animation, and there's a little, navigation bar at the top with links to cool. Here's like some speaking that Sarah's done, maybe some writing, some different projects that she's worked on, and a bunch of, nice little design stuff. Like cool, she makes things, she breaks things. Some information about her, a contact page, that sort of thing. Similarly, this is the other one that I saw that I really liked, has little animation. I just like that it, so you can see the eyes kind of follow the cursor as it moves around. I think that was pretty clever. And similarly, there's a menu that has cool home, about this person, about this designer, about their work, maybe links to their writing. And there's generally kind of similar structure. Here are some like of their projects that they've been working on, that sort of thing. And so obviously, these are professional designers. I'm sure they've worked on these sites for a really long time. But I want to, in this session, we're going to be able to build a portfolio website in about an hour, about 45 minutes. And it's not going to be quite as polished as those, but I think it'll be a really, really good start. And so hopefully y'all can follow along with me or use this recording later to help out. And yeah, I just want to, the goal of the session is to show that you can build a website from scratch. You don't need to be an expert in coding in HTML, CSS, JavaScript. If you use good prompts, you can kind of hone in on a unique style. You can also utilize image generation tools. And so I ran another one of these sessions a while ago, and I have my own kind of personal domain, keenanzucker.com. And here's it's definitely not as polished as those other ones, but basically all of this was written using ChatGPT. So I have my home page, this basic about page, little portfolio page that has some of my projects. And again, all these images were made using DALL-E, contact form, that sort of thing. And so hopefully, we'll get to something probably not quite, it took me a little bit longer, maybe a couple hours, but still doesn't take quite as long. Yeah, is there a question? Okay, I'll keep on going. Cool. I'm just gonna go brief introduction about the tools we'll be using. Node.js is a common JavaScript runtime. Allows you to write JavaScript on the server side. We're not going to be doing any of that today. We're going to be just doing client-side code, but it does come bundled with NPM, which is called Node Package Manager, and it basically allows developers to use libraries. There's a lot of code that is shared, and we don't need to write a lot of code from scratch. We can use what other really smart engineers have written and use those packages. That's what Create React App is. So you might be familiar with some of these packages, like Bootstrap UI, Material UI, or Tailwind CSS. Those are some good examples of ones that you might be familiar with that you can also use. React.js is also a JavaScript framework. This is more on the client side, on the front end, used for building user interfaces. Maybe y'all have heard of it, but it's a really, really popular framework. A lot of engineers use it. It's a kind of a modern framework. And it uses this kind of component-based architecture where you can drag in components, and it also allows you to kind of write your HTML alongside your JavaScript, which makes, I think, a lot kind of faster development. It's also what I use in my professional job. So that's what I'm kind of comfortable with. So that's what I'll be using in this demonstration. But it's, we're not going to be doing anything too crazy with React. Just kind of some really basics. And I won't talk about, why React is fast. It uses this thing called the virtual DOM. So if you want to, look that up on your own time, feel free to. It's pretty cool. And finally, we'll be using ChatGPT. And if you don't have an account yet, you can get a free account. It's really fun just to mess around with, but it can also be used in a professional context. And yeah, it's a big AI language model. It's trained on just like trillions of documents and tokens and all sorts of stuff. It's pretty cool. And I don't really know how it is totally working. A lot of smart people a lot smarter than me have worked on it. This is what I pulled off their website of kind of how it works, right? It's training all this data. It's doing all this comparison model. But again, for this session, we don't really need to know how it works. We just need to know how we can use it. And I'll be showing some kind of tips and tricks as we jump into the demo. But I think that's it. Yeah, any questions before we jump into the demonstration about any of the slides?
Yeah, no questions. I think it's just an error.
Oh, is there an error? Do you guys not?
Like, I think, or Owen, did you want to say something? I think he. Favor. No, yeah, I think it was just a mistake.
No.
Okay. All right, well, let's just jump into it then. I think it'll be pretty fun. Cool, so again, if you wanna follow along, feel free to. It will be a little bit different just because, what ChatGPT will say might be different from what you're typing versus what I'm typing, even if we type basically the same thing. So keep that in mind. There's gonna be a little bit of discrepancy, but I hope that, if you're following along, you can get something similar and we can have fun with it. So here I am in a brand new ChatGPT window. We're using, 3.5. I do pay for 4, but the extra subscription, but it's a lot slower and we're kind of like limited, even though the responses may be a little bit better. And so the normal model is totally fine for the purpose of this exercise. And I'm gonna basically start typing some prompts and be copying a bunch of this code that it spits out, and we're gonna be running it and we're gonna see what we get. And so, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Say hello, I'd like to build a portfolio website using the tool create-react-app. And so create React app is a, basically will create all of our boilerplate React code for us. It's a really, really nice tool to kind of set up the website basics, and then we can update the content as we go. And npx, which is the node package manager, like I mentioned before. Can you show me how to get started? All right, and you can see it's pretty fast. It's spitting out a bunch of stuff. And so here we're going to follow these steps. Again, this is kind of similar to the steps that I posted in that document with the prerequisites. So you need to make sure you have node.js downloaded. I already have it on my computer. You can make sure you have npx and have create React app. npx is kind of the command line tool that we use with the node package manager. And I'll scroll on here because I already have those things downloaded. And we are going to use this package called create React app, like I mentioned, and we're going to call it something like my portfolio. So I'm just going to copy this command. I'm going to go to my terminal window, which is over here. And I'm going to do npx create React app, and we're going to call this, let's see, we'll call it Microsoft's portfolio. I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to start building some of this boilerplate for us. So it's installing some packages like React, React DOM, and React scripts. It'll take a couple minutes as it's getting set up. This is a pretty popular library. A lot of engineers use it just to like get something started. It has a bunch of defaults set up that are really, really nice. And we should get running pretty quickly here, and then jump into all the fun stuff, which is actually adding the content. But this should give us a nice boilerplate. So we'll let this run for a second. It looks like it's pretty quick. Well, not that quick. And then we will, once we start running this, I'm also going to open up in my, so I'm using Visual Studio Code, which is an editor. And so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say open folder. I'm going to navigate to that. Let's see, where is it? It's going to be in documents, coding, and the portfolio. So I'm just going to open this whole folder into my code editor here. And it looks like it is done. Let me look at my terminal. Yes, cool. So it is done installing all those packages. And so you can see here on my left-hand side, I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. It has built a bunch of these files for us already. So this SRC, that stands for source, we're going to open that up. I'm going to have a couple, things. So we have app.js is a file we're going to be using a bunch. There's a bunch of other ones we don't need to worry. You don't need to worry too much about like the setup test, the report web visuals, that sort of stuff. Don't need to worry about that. But this app.js is the main one we're going to be using. The code looks like this. And if we go back into our terminal, after we installed create React app, we got these commands. And basically the only one we're going to need is npm start. So we're going to type that npm start. And oops, oh, I'm not in the right folder. Cool. So I need to navigate into that folder. So cd is the command to navigate, and msli portfolio. Great. And now I'm in that folder, and I'm going to type npm start. Hopefully this works this time. And it's starting our development server. So that means if it should automatically open up a window, and it's pointing, you can see the URL here, rather than like a www.something, it's localhost 3000. And that means it's basically running, your computer is running a local development server. And so if someone else goes to localhost 3000, they're not going to say the same thing. This is just specific to your computer. But at the end, we can then deploy this website out to the web. You can see, here's a functional website. It has a link to something, and that should be all functional. And now we can start the fun stuff, which is basically, asking some commands to ChatGPT. We're going to copy and paste them all, and we're going to load them into these screens. So we have our setup, and now let's jump into the fun stuff. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, you want to ask to build the kind of the bare bone structure of a portfolio website. So I'll say, okay, great. I always try to be, you know, nice to, I don't like nice to, and, you know, thank ChatGPT for what it's doing, because it's helping us. I'd like to now build the structure of my portfolio website. I'd like to use, I'm going to use another package called React Router DOM. And that will allow us to kind of click, like make a nav bar where we can click different links and it'll navigate us to different pages. And so I'd like to use that package. I'd like to use React Router DOM and have I can't spell well, pages for home. We're gonna have like a home page. We're gonna have an about page. We're gonna have a like portfolio page with our projects. We're gonna have a contact page maybe. Show me the code. All right, and so now it just starts spitting out a bunch of code, which is great. And yeah, so this is kind of taking place of our app.js file, and it's linking to a couple different things. And here's an example of our home page. So I'm just going to build out some of these new files, because we'll need some new files here. And I'm gonna just copy and paste this whole, there's this, you know, when it spits out this code, it's nice. We have this little copy code button. I'm gonna go over back to my app.js page. I'm just copying that whole thing. If I save this, you might tell it's gonna break because we don't have some of these pages yet. So we need to build out these files, and so that it's actually linking to something. So I'm going to add a new folder. I'm gonna call it components. Like it says here, these file paths, I'm gonna start adding some new files. I'm gonna call it home.js. We're gonna call one about.js. We're gonna have portfolio.js and a contact.js. Great. And one other thing is that I asked for this new package called React Router. And so what I have to do is it's still, even though I have this pages, there's still an error. And so even though I know what this error is, you know, if you didn't know what this error is, what we can do is also copy and paste this error into ChatGPT and ask why we have this error. I'm getting this error. And just copy and paste that and see what it says. Yes, and it means, oh, you know, we have this module React Router DOM where you have not installed it in your project. You can install it by running the following command in your project directory in the terminal. I'm gonna just go ahead and copy that. I'm gonna stop running the server. I'm gonna run that command like it asked for. It's gonna install this new package. Great. I'm gonna npm start once again. Cool. Should reload this page now. Looks like it's already reloading. And another error. I also know what this one is. This is a kind of gotcha, I think. When I was trying this before, it says export switch. This is a component, is not found in React Router DOM. What does that mean? So I'm going to copy and paste this error again, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT again. I'm getting another error. And just copy and paste that whole thing in. And so this is, yeah, it says when switch component is not directly exported. And so this is one that might be, you know, confusing if you're not familiar with this package called React Router DOM. And it's kind of tricky here because make sure you're using the correct version. You can check the version. And I know I just installed it, so I'm using the most up-to-date version. But it actually, the switch component I know is not a part of the newest version. They deprecated that and have a new one. So I'm going to ask, is the switch component a part of the latest version of React Router DOM? And this is where I think it's a little bit funny because it's very confident, right? ChatGPT is like, yes, the switch component is a part of the latest version. It uses the render the route thing, blah, 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 blah. Here's an example of how you can use it. But I know for a fact that this is not true. And so you got to be careful sometimes because ChatGPT can be very, very confident, but it can also be wrong. And so I'm going to tell it, I'm pretty sure the switch component was replaced by the routes component. And here it says, oh, you are correct. The latest version of React, the switch component was replaced by the routes component. So it admits it's a mistake, but you wouldn't know at this point. That's something. So sometimes if you're still having errors, you might have to do some other Googling and make sure that its answers are correct. And so here we have the updated path. So I'm going to copy this code. I'm going to go back to my app.js and just copy and paste the whole thing. Hit save. And let's see. Oh, we don't have any of these components built out yet. Cool. So we have that error, but we now need to add content to these pages. So I think it did. Can you show me the components for home, about, portfolio, and content? And now it's going to give us the code for those files. All right. So I'm just going to, again, I'm just copying and pasting. We're not writing in this code ourselves because we don't really need to. So we'll do that one. Go into about. And you can see we're already having some more success, the portfolio page. And finally, the contact page. Great. And so now we have those pages and they're set up using our React router. So we have these kind of URL paths. So if I go back, here's my site. We just see this home page, but if I go to /about, here's our about page. And if I go to /contact, here's our contact page. So we're getting close, getting closer. But like those kind of demo sites I was showing, we're going to want a nav bar so we can navigate between those pages. We don't have to manually type it in the URL bar. And so we're going to ask for that. So we say, okay, great. I'd like to add a nav bar component to switch between the pages. Here's an example of a component. It's also showing us how to add that to our app.js file, which is perfect. And so we are going to copy this code. We are going to create a new file in our components folder called navbar.js. We're just going to copy and paste this whole thing in. We're going to go back and we're going to copy and paste app.js again. Again, I'm just controlling everything and deleting it and copying and pasting the new thing in each time. I'm not really writing any custom code. And we're going back. And here we have our navbar component. So this is, a functional website. We have our home page, we have our about page, we have our portfolio page, we have our contact page. And so the bare bones are there. We needed, 5 or 6 commands, and this is, a functional website. Now, obviously, it doesn't look very great, and so this is now where the fun can really begin. We have our bare bones, but we are designers. We want to make this not just look really, really basic, and so we can ask ChatGPT for some styling and kind of add for custom styles. And so we're going to go ahead and start doing that. So I think let's start with that navbar component because we've already been talking about it. We want our navbar to sit, kind of across the top of the page and have these links kind of spaced out. And so one thing to note is that, the more specific your prompts are in a ChatGPT, the better results it's going to return. So if you say, okay, add some styles to the navbar, it'll give us something. But if we want to be very specific, it's actually going to be better. So I'm going to give a more specific prompt and see how it does. Let's add some styling to the navbar component. I'd like to show the name Keenan in the top left and the other links on the right side. I'd like the nav bar to be sticky to the top of the screen. I'd also like to add some icons using React icons to the links. So this is a little bit more specific. We're asking for a bit more this time. Nice, and it's spitting out a bunch of stuff. So I asked for React icons, which is another npm package. So I know we're going to have to install that. So before, while that's still spitting out our prompt, do npm install react-icons. And this is another package just to quickly give us a big library of icons that'll make our website a little bit nicer. And I'm going to go back and hit npm start. And so it's running our development server once again. Cool. So let's go back here. Oops. And see what it did. Okay, so you can see in this nav bar, now it added a bunch of class names. So if you're familiar with kind of HTML and CSS, you can add a class name, and then you can add in your CSS a link to that class name, and then the actual styles like background colors and font text, font sizes, all that sort of stuff. And it gives us some CSS here. So I'm going to copy and paste this whole component here. We're going to go to our nav bar. We're going to paste it in. And it's also adding our styles. So we are going to add a new folder. I'm trying to look where it's asking us to make the folder. So it's saying, okay, up a directory and a new folder called styles. So we're going to add a new folder called styles. We're going to add a new file called navbar.css. So if you ask it for a specific place, it'll give you that, but I'm just going to follow what it's doing already and see how that looks. And I'm going to now copy and paste, not really reading what it's saying. I'm just kind of blindly copying and pasting the code and seeing what happens. So I'm going to then paste in this style, hit save, and navigate back. And there we have it. We have a nav bar. We have these icons. Ooh, that doesn't look very good. And it looks like when we hover, it shows the word. And this hover text that's yellow. And again, we just asked it for some styles. We didn't really know what it was going to give us. But it still should be functional, right? You can still navigate between the pages. We're going to ask to update these styles because I don't think this looks very good. I don't like this kind of hover state where it doesn't show us. But again, these are things that we can ask for to update. Both the words and the icons show in the nav bar. Let's see what it does with just that. All right. I don't think it'll have updated this much, but I'll copy and paste it again. It looks like it was roughly the same, but I will just go ahead and copy and paste the whole CSS here again. Let's see what we get. All right, so now, okay, it did that, and we now have them showing next to it. But still, I don't like these other underlines that are blue. I don't really like the yellow hover, so we can ask for a little bit more specifics. The styling, again, of the links. I'd like them to not have underlines, and I'd like to update the hover style to be more modern. You can give it kind of more nebulous responses to be more modern. No, just be more modern. Let's see what happens. So again, I'm not really even looking at what the code's doing. I'm just copying and pasting and seeing if it's what I like. Just because we're trying to move quickly here. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste. It looks like we're still using this yellow color. Oh, so now it looks like it's purple and yellow. Ooh, that's kind of nice. So I kind of like the underline effect. That's a little bit better. When we click it, it goes red. Again, some different things. We were kind of asking it just for a more modern style. It's giving us some different stuff. And so again, we can kind of keep going back and forth and asking for specific styles. We can also just manually change the CSS ourselves because there's a couple of places that should be pretty easy to tell. And so here, we have where's that purple coloring? Oh, I'm not sure actually. The hover text is yellow. The background color is that blue. I don't know where that purple color is actually coming from. That's very interesting. Well, if we can ask again. One more update. I'd like the text color of the links to be white, the hover color to be light blue. Let's see how it does. All right, again, we're just gonna copy and paste this whole thing and see if it made those changes for us. There we go, and so that's a little bit better. We have our nice underlining effect, we have it white, and we have the underline in that nice kind of teal light blue color. Cool. And still we have, in the top left, we have my name, and it's gonna link back to the home page. And so again, it was, took a couple commands to kind of hone in on the style that we liked. I think this looks pretty good. And obviously, you could go back and forth as many times as you want to get a style that you like. Again, we're just trying to build this out quickly. So let's move on to some of the next pages. Let's maybe do the about page and add some new content, add some more styles. So I'm gonna say, okay, let's move on to the about. I'd like to add content about me. I'm a designer and engineer named Keenan. I work for Kojo Technologies, and I like using AI tools, running, and baking. I also have professional skills in Figma, ChatGPT. We're going to add a kind of a skills section to the bottom of our about page. JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Photoshop, and what else? React.js. Cool. And let's see what it gives us. And again, it's going to give us more content and it's going to give us some more styling. So we will copy and paste this into our about page. We're going to add a new styles page. So we're going to go into our styles folder again and add an about.css. And let's see, where's that style? We're going to add all of these styles and see what it gives us. I'll give us another this bright yellow color. That's not bad. That's not bad. It has these kind of links to my skills. Oh, I might also want to add a photo. So I'm going to add, it turned my content into a little bit more, I'm baking in my free time, that sort of thing. I'd also like to add a photo to the about page. Can you use a placeholder photo from So there's a website called Pixum that basically just gives you kind of placeholder photos. And so it's an easy way to, before actually getting your real photos, just to kind of style out what it's going to look like. Let's see what it gives us. Interesting. Okay, so it didn't do this quite right. It tried to look at a placeholder, an assets.placeholder image, which we're actually not using. So I'm going to ask it again. Can you try it again? Photo source. Let's see if it does that. Okay, so now that looks better, right? So now you can see our image source is just coming from this URL website, the photos ID. Cool. And so I'm going to just copy and paste this. I'm actually going to ask it. I'm going to try one more time. And ask for a random photo. A random photo. All right, there we go. So now we're doing a random photo. So that'll be a little more interesting. Okay, so again, I'm gonna copy and paste all of this code into here. Oh, it looks like I didn't get that photo. It's not quite working right. Oh, there it goes. I think I missed some styles to profile picture container. So I'm just gonna copy this CSS again and see what we get. All right, so that's a little bit better. You know, we could update this image later, but also because it's random, if I refresh the page, I'm gonna get a different image, which I think is kind of fun. Cool, so obviously, you know, as you have more time, you can add more content here. You can update your professional skills to be, you know, whatever the skills you have. But again, we're just trying to build this quickly. Cool, let's move and let's do the contact page next and see what we can get. So, great, let's move on to the contact page. Can you add a lot of websites have, you know, a little form to, you know, send an email. And so we're going to build a really basic form here. Well, ChatGPT is going to build it. We're not really going to do much. We're just going to ask it a contact form that will send. And so we're not going to use, you know, like an API to send an email because that would require a backend. But we are going to, you know, want to be able to put the content of the email into your like local email client. So I'm going to ask for that. That will send an email using the user's local email client. Let's see what it gives us. Perfect. And it gives us some styles as well. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna, again, just copying and pasting this whole thing. And this one's a little interesting. So this is using some React that we haven't, you know, really gone over. It's using this use state. And I'm not going to go into the details here, but it's using a little bit more kind of fancy React to set, you know, your name, set your email, set your message in this contact form. Again, we don't need to know exactly what it's doing. We're just copying and pasting and hoping, you know, that it works. And I also, in this mail to URL, you know, we're using this example. So I'm going to update this to be my email, which is just keenanzucker@gmail.com. And I'm going to also add a new style page called contact.css. And I'm going to go back. You can see what it's looking like already. Hopefully the style makes it a little bit nicer. Copy and paste all this in. Again, we're using that nice yellow background color that it's liking, and see what we get. So there we have a contact me page. And you know, if we add, so you know, my name, this is a test name, and the email that's coming from, cool, here's my work email, or my old work email. Okay, it doesn't like that. Test.com, testing 1 2 3, and when we hit submit, it will open up your local. So I'm using a Mac, so here's the kind of email client from my computer. And you can see it auto-populates, you know, it's sending to the email that we listed in our code, the subject of just, you know, whatever the name is, and our testing 1 2 3. It looks like it added this from email too. So here we have, you know, a contact page that if the site was live, people could, you know, send emails to me using this form. And so again, just doing it really quickly and a little bit hacky, but it looks like it's working pretty well. And again, if we wanted to add more style, we totally could make it a little more responsive. Actually, it looks like, you know, we resize the screen, you know, it stays pretty good. But I don't, you know, I think a contact page isn't super interesting. So I think we're going to move on to more of the fun stuff. But, you know, our about page is looking, oh, is that image still working? Okay, it looks like it is. Contact page look pretty good, right? Like they look, you know, relatively modern, not super fancy, but pretty solid. And we could hone them more if we wanted to. But let's jump to the portfolio page next, because I think that is, you know, the core of your website. That's where you're showcasing your projects. And we're going to add, you know, this is kind of the most important part of the website. So let's go back and ask for a nice specific prompt to build our portfolio page. Let's move on to the portfolio page. And so there's something that I'm going to ask it for. So if we're on our portfolio page, you can see right now that it has, a URL. It has a link to all of our projects. And whereas we can totally do this, I think it'll be easier if we have a list of all the content for our projects kind of listed at the top, and then we can iterate over them and showcase them. And so this will just make it really easy, a lot easier to edit, and I'll show you why in a second. So I'm going to ask, I'd like to store the project details in a const at the top of the page. Each project should have these properties. A placeholder image URL using, we're just going to use these placeholder images just because it's going to be a little bit faster. A title, a description, and links to more project details. I'd like to show three projects. One about a website. I'll just do it this way. Website I built using ChatGPT. That's one of our projects. A Figma plugin that I built that uses AI to make designs. I don't know, something kind of generic, whatever. Obviously you would have real projects here, and a mobile app that generates music, something like that, whatever your projects are. And here it's spitting out our code. And so this is what I asked for, right? Is I wanted the projects to be listed here at the top in its kind of own file, just so we wanted to add stuff if we wanted to, add more projects. It'd be a lot easier than going into our actual code. Then our code down here is actually linking, or it's mapping over our projects and showcasing each one in a nice card. Oh, and here's a good example of sometimes another place where ChatGPT can kind of trip you up a little bit. Is that here it started writing our CSS, but then you can see it just stopped. And this is a pretty big file, right? And so the output of ChatGPT is limited to, I think it's like 4,000 characters or something. I'm not exactly sure, but sometimes it doesn't finish. It's telling us about what it's doing, and it didn't finish the CSS. So I'm just going to ask it again for the CSS, basically. Let me show me the portfolio.css file again. And it'll just give me that file. But first, I'm going to copy and paste our code into here. I'm going to add our new styles page. Again, just what we've been doing, CSS. And I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to copy and paste this big block of styling and see what it looks like. And we weren't very specific on what we want it to look like, so I'm pretty curious what it's going to do. Isn't it interesting, right? That it's like kind of keeping its own theme. We had this theme before of, cool, we're going to use yellow for stuff, and it's staying in line with that. And here we go. Here's our portfolio. Here we have our different. See, it added these little hover effects. It has our title. It has our description. It has a link. These are probably example that So obviously these aren't real links that you could put in for yourself. But that looks, okay. They're a little bit narrow. They probably could be a little wider. But again, these are things that we can ask for. That actually doesn't look terrible. And so I'm going to ask for, can you update the styling so the cards are a little wider and have a fun hover effect, something like that, just to see what it can do. And we will just copy and paste when it's ready and see what happens. Try it again. Oh, so they aren't much wider. That's interesting. So I'm curious, I'm going to actually look into the code itself and see project card. Does it have a width? Oh, it's calculating. Oh, interesting. So it's doing some calculations here. And so our project container, if you actually look in the code, is only 800 pixels, and that's pretty narrow. So I'm going to change this to like 1400 or something and see if that changes it. There we go. So now they're a little bit wider. Minus 10 pixels margin bottom, transform, object fit cover. Again, I'm not sure, about all the CSS, but we're going to do, I do like the hover effect of it kind of growing. I'm going to ask for a different grid. All right, let's see what it does. I ask it for a gallery with less space in between. Again, don't really need to know about the specifics. So it looks like it's using some media queries. That's cool. And we're going to give it another shot and see what happens. Make them narrower again. That's really funny. Still has a nice hover effect. Wonder if that's still because of this max width. Yeah, it looks like it set it back. So if we change it, it looks pretty similar to me. But again, we could go back and forth. I'm trying to check our time, even though there are 15 or 20 minutes. Okay. And so, we could keep going back and forth if we wanted to make some changes. It's clearly not always perfect. Maybe I'll ask for all of them to be in line. I'd like all 3 projects to be on the same line with a, let's see if I just do that. I'm not being very specific just to see how it calculates this. And I can see it's already having our max width of 800 pixels. But let's see what it does. See if this works. All right, so they are in line now, which is a little bit better. They're only kind of hovering on top of each other. But I'm if I update this again. And so it doesn't know the size of my screen, right? It doesn't know that I can actually support a lot wider. So that's a little bit better. And we can, if we want to manually just give them some new, we could just give them a margin of 20 pixels and see if that does it. All right, so now they're a little bit more spaced out. Again, so yeah, having a little bit of knowledge of CSS definitely helps. We have this nice hover effect. We have a link out to maybe the project details, images, the descriptions, all that sort of stuff. There's also a hover effect on the button itself. I didn't notice that. It's kind of cool. And it's using this little icon. So I think that's pretty solid. Cool. And so now, yeah, we have our basics. We have our contact page. We have our portfolio page. We wanted to add, new projects. We could just even copy this again. I'm curious what happens if I just do this. I just update these 4, 5, 6. What does it try to do there? Yeah, so now it puts them all in one big row, which is what I asked for. But we'll just delete that just to show that we could add more projects. You can update the designs accordingly. So now we have our basic template. I think this is looking okay. But we haven't done anything on our homepage. I think this is where we can have a little bit more fun and show some other of the power that ChatGPT can do. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to ask, let's add some content to the component now in styles. I just added for some content. I didn't really ask for anything in particular. It looks like use some context from the previous pages, which is cool. Oh yes, that's another thing to maybe note, which I think is pretty fascinating about ChatGPT, is that when I ask for this, this prompt, let's add some content to the home.js component, you can see it's adding context from previous prompts. And so how ChatGPT is actually working under the hood is that this input, when I ask for this prompt, it's not just taking in this input. It's taking in this input plus all of the other content up to whatever its input limit is. So it might miss some stuff really like way earlier in our chat, but from previous messages, it has that context in mind, which is why it's able to like understand, cool, you know, it already knows that my name's Keenan, I'm a designer currently working, you know, these sort of things. I think that's pretty cool. All right, so now I'm gonna go back to my home page, add this. We're going to add our new style page. CSS, yes, I know, and copy that code. Cool. And so now we have, oops, did I not do it right? Home.css. Ah, okay, so here it's interesting. You can see it messed up our import path. And so if I'm, let's see if I ask if it'll fix it. The import path for home.css doesn't work. Let's see if it remembers the previous. Yes, okay, so now it remembers that we have, oh, interesting. So now it asks for a /CSS folder, which as you can see, we called it style. So it doesn't quite remember, probably because those messages were too old. But we're just going to, we're gonna ask, can you make the import path from a styles folder? There we go. So now it should remember that, hopefully, for subsequent prompts. And here's our homepage, which is pretty basic. But now I want to do some of the fun stuff, which is asking for stuff that would be harder to kind of, you know, all these things, you know, adding the content, adding the little backgrounds, you could all figure out pretty quickly. But there's some stuff that ChatGPT can do, I think, kind of better than us normal normal humans. And so we're going to add some more fun styles. We can also use ChatGPT as like an ideation tool. And so we can ask it for ideas of how to make our website more interesting. So I'm going to actually ask for what it thinks. I want to add some more flair to my homepage. What ideas do you have that could make? What ideas do you have? I'll just ask. I'll leave that open-ended. Just see what ideas that I have. Cool. So here's some ideas, right? Add a background image or video. Add animations. Okay, cool. Add interactive elements. You could add a quiz or a game. Sure. Use creative typography. Add a personal touch. Photos, illustrations. Use a parallax scrolling, stuff like that. You know, a bunch of pretty fun ideas. I'm gonna add. I've tried this one before and it works really well. So I'm gonna try doing this one. Can you add a animated rainbow gradient to the background of my homepage? Oh, interesting. Huh, well, there was an error in BuddyStream. I haven't seen this before. I am going to try to returning response. Maybe my internet went out. Okay, there we go. That was weird. What's this response? Oh, I haven't seen this before. Interesting. Cool. And that's it. I'm going to copy and paste. And again, adding a rainbow gradient seems like something that I wouldn't know how to do off the top of my head. It looks like it just updated our home container. You can see it put in some colors there. If I save, curious what it's going to look like. There we go. So we have a rainbow background. It's not animated. Interesting. Oh, interesting. So it is animating, I think, just really slowly. It's on a 10-second. So if I change that, will it animate? No, interesting. I'm going to ask again. Bring home container. Do I have that right? I want the rainbow background to cover the full screen and slowly, and animate between colors. Let's see. All right, let's see how this does. Okay, this is any better. And again, I see that 10-second. I'm going to change it to 2 seconds. So it should go a little bit faster. Oh, and I don't see it at all. Funny. I wonder what's happening here. Oh, so now I added this rainbow background class, but we don't have a rainbow background class in our code. So I'll ask it, show me the corresponding home.js. You can see now it adds a component with that rainbow background. So I'm going to copy and paste that. Oops. I can already see that it forgot about our styles. But I'll just manually change that. And there we go. Now we have our animating rainbow gradient. Looks like it's kind of just flickering between 2 different ones. It's not very smooth. But again, it's definitely working here. Ease infinite. Cool. I want to showcase one more thing. I'm going to actually add a opacity of 0.3, just so it's a little less harsh. Yeah, it's a little more subtle. That we can do, which is other ideas. And so, we asked it for some other ideas. That's great. And you can use external APIs. And so there's a bunch of free APIs out there, and APIs are basically, other ways we can get information from the internet. We can basically call other URLs and download information and showcase it. And so I think that's a kind of a fun way to add some interesting stuff to this webpage. So I'm going to ask what free APIs we could potentially use to add some flair or add some content to this page. I'd like to add something fun. Homepage. What free APIs that don't need an API key, because that's just going to take a little bit more time, could I use on the page? And it spits out some free APIs. Like there's a random capture API, there's a random joke API, there's a random quotes API, a weather API, a bunch of stuff like that. And it also gave us an example of publicapis.io, which looks like a page that has some more examples of them. And I don't really know what's in there, but I kind of like the idea of having a random joke on my homepage. And so I'm going to ask it to do that. You add a joke my home. And let's see what it does. Interesting. As you can tell right now, it starts asking us to install a new library called Axios. We're actually not going to need this. There is a way that we have can do this without using Axios. So I'm going to ask it again. Can you again, but use fetch instead of Axios? And so fetch, we don't have to install anything manually, which is nice. And it's showing us kind of each component at a time, which is useful, but I'm going to ask it for the whole thing. Show me the full home.js component, please. Because I don't want to have to copy these individual things. I want the whole thing. All right, there we go. Cool. And so it's pulling out this joke. I wonder what this joke's going to be like. I'm a little bit nervous about it, but let's see. Oh, and it looks like it messed up our styles path again. Right, no. And there's a joke at the bottom. How do you fix damaged jack-o'-lantern? You use a pumpkin patch. That's great. I want to showcase this joke a little bit more. So I'm going to ask for some styles. All right, let's see what that does. I'm gonna add that joke bit to our styles page. And there we go. A little bit more. And every time I refresh the page, never take advice from electrons, they're always negative. That's great. Why did the mushroom get invited to the party? Because he was a fun guy. You know, and we can use these free APIs. Again, I didn't need to look into the documentation of this API. I didn't need to understand how to like use the right way to fetch it, right? Like it's using this URL, it's pulling in that joke, it's looking at the response, it's turning that response into JSON, it's taking that data, it's putting the setup and then the punchline on 2 separate lines, it's setting that into our state, and then we're returning that joke. But I didn't need to know any of that, right? I just asked it for the right prompts, copied and posted the code, and it showed me a really great joke, an arguably great joke. And again, that's interesting that it's still, every time we load, it's gonna maybe not work the first time. Again, there's little errors here that we could definitely sort out, but you could argue that here is a simple but functional portfolio website, and we built it together in under an hour, which I think is pretty cool. So the next steps here would then be to deploy this website, and I don't know if we're going to have quite enough time, but I will show what we could do. And basically, I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to tell us how to do it. So I'll say, how would I go about deploying this website using GitHub Pages? You might have heard of GitHub Pages. It's a free way to host your domain or your websites. And so if I ask, it'll give us the steps in order to do that. And so it looks like there's 10 steps here. We'd go into GitHub, we'd create a new repository, we'd go into our current directory, we'd run git init, we'd set some branches, we'd push, we'd install this package called GitHub Pages, we'd add some scripts. It looks like we eventually will deploy to GitHub, and we'd be able to access that page. Again, we should, this shouldn't be too difficult, hopefully, to do. Hopefully these commands work. It might not, who knows, but I'm pretty sure, I hope that it would. But following these steps, we'd hopefully be able to have this live on our GitHub page linked to our portfolio website. Yeah, so I think that was about an hour, and I know we have the other session as well, so I don't want to take up too much more time. But hopefully that was interesting. I'd be happy to take some questions or suggestions if anyone wants to see anything else. I know I was running through it really fast, so yeah, what questions do people have? Cool. Well, if there aren't any questions, I'm happy to pass back to Samuel.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kenan, for that section. I guess if there probably are a few questions, but probably maybe not the right words to put it at the moment. So maybe they're still kind of processing. But I'm pretty sure those that have their questions will ask along the meeting. Thank you very much for that session. I mean, it's mind blowing what you can actually do with ChatGPT. To be
really
honest,
is.
it's mind blowing.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that session.
Yeah, of course.
It's ready for Ross now on his session.
Sorry. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're audible.
Okay, sir. I really want to apologize for missing my session. I was having a network issues. So today I don't know if can anyone confirm if you can see my screen, please?
Yes, I can. I can see a screen.
Okay, so Samuel has said some of the things I'm going to be talking about today, but I'm going to try going through everything. I'm going to be talking about the efficient design solution and how we can leverage AI for UI UX. And I'm just going to try and do like a little introduction about myself. So my name is Owen Favor. I'm a designer with expertise in product design and UI UX. I'm passionate about technology and always eager to learn and explore new trends. I'm also skilled in videography, photography, and video editing. You can connect with me on Twitter. My username is on display. So the content of what I'm going to be covering today is mostly going to be based on um, who is this for? Like,
Sorry,
how can
did you say your username is on display? I can't see that. I think you're still on the Teams.
I'm coming?
Maybe you
Sorry,
should share your whole screen instead of sharing.
coming. Can you see it now? Hello?
Yeah, not yet. I'm still just seeing the Teams interface. I don't know if anyone can see something else.
No, I can't. I'm only seeing the
Okay.
Teams interface.
Okay.
Okay, now I think you can see your screen now.
Sorry about that. Can you see my tab?
Yes, I can.
The new tab.
Sure.
Please, can you help me confirm? I really apologize. What is on the new tab you can see? I'm trying to confirm.
I can
if
see
it's-
Canva. Yeah, you can go on.
Sorry. I apologize. It seems it's not streaming my desktop, so I'm going to try doing it directly from.
Maybe you should stop sharing and share your whole screen instead. Like stop sharing and share your whole screen instead of just
Okay.
Or are you good to go now?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay.
So I will just continue for where I stopped. Sorry. I'm going to be covering who is this for? How can AI benefit UI UX designers? Different AI tools for UI UX designers. AI in competitive audits, gaining competitive advantage. AI in creating personal, streamlining the process. AI in interviews, enhancing interview question. AI in estimating design solution and potential impact. AI used in replacing spaceholder text for realistic content. AI helps in and how AI can help in color selection for UI UX designers. AI in the design process, enhancing efficient and creativity. So, firstly, I would like to say AI is it's not something new. I mean, Kinan has really talked about how ChatGPT, and most of us here might have heard of would have heard of ChatGPT and the wonders that AI has been doing lately. Most of us might have even tried using AI to um, probably to solve an online essay or the assignment or something. I think if UI UX designers can like leverage these AI tools to work for them, it will really improve their workflow and make data driven for them to make data driven decision, create more user centric design, and more. So I'm going to be listing. I mean, there are like more than 300 AI tools that we UI UX designers or outside UI UX designers can um, use or take advantage of. But I'm going to be concentrating on just four today. And one is ChatGPT. And if you look around the screen, you're going to see let's say 5 of the things I'm going to be concentrating on with the chat GPT. The second one would be colormine.io, and this is to help and this is to help for a color selection for designers. I'm very sure if you have any UI UX designer here, we know how hard it is to find a color that matches this other color, or for find a color theme during a design process, or something that really goes with your design or something like that. I feel like AI can also benefit the whole thing. AI in image generation tools for enhancing UI UX. In image generation tools for enhancing UI UX design. One of the AI tool I'm going to be talking about is Night Cafe Creator, and I don't know if most of us are like really familiar with Night Cafe. It's one of the AI tools amongst many actually that we can use to generate AI driven images by just inputting of prompts. I think Emmanuel has talked about it a little about it in his section. We also have other AI image generator like Night Cafe, Midjourney and DALL-E that you can explore. Most of them are actually really like paid to use. For you have to pay for points, but I'm going to be concentrating on Night Cafe because it's free, or not like really like free, but for those that just wants to like enjoy the fact that they want to generate images without actually like paying, they can. I think Night Cafe is something they can really explore. AI in the design process, enhancing the efficiency and creativity. UIZard. Very, very sure most of us UI UX designers might have heard of UIZard. UIZard can help in, I don't know, most of us to be familiar with Figma. Think of Figma mixed with AI and imagine how good it will be for designers to be able to turn their wireframe. I mean, both digital driven wireframe and probably something that you pen down on the paper. Just take a picture. I will be demonstrating that in like a practical method along the line. So let's go into that. I'm going to try designing a complete website for a, let's say, a landing page like NASA, for example. I'm going to try designing a landing page for NASA using all these UI tools, and I'm going to be using Chat GPT most, but they use. I'm going to try. Let's start from like. Let me try creating a new project. So, for example, I'm going to try creating a new screen. Let's see, like a desktop website. Let me use this. So now, if let's say for like I said, NASA website, if we are to create a website for NASA, for example, we are going to need. I mean, if you open NASA's website and you didn't find anything like something like it's space or like spacecraft or something like from the moon or something like that, you won't really like. You'd be like, what's this I'm into or something like that. So I'm going to try using Night Cafe to generate an AI image right here. So you can see on my screen This is basically the home page. And I just want to make mention, Night Cafe uses points. I apparently have 5 points, and that's like a sign-up bonus for those of you that want to try it out. You can go ahead and do that after the event. So let's say I'm trying to let's say an image. You can check the left side of my screen. You see an image of a space craft landing in Mars, for example. Okay, so it's has generated like a lot of images, but so I'm going to try looking for one I can use. Sorry, I don't think I'm going to. Let me specify, and I want to like make mention for those that would like want to use AI, all AI tools in general. It will be for a good advantage if you specify, like really use your prompts effectively, specify the things you want the AI to generate. So I'm going to try adding sorry. Wait for that to load. I'm going to go with this one because it seems more like, and I'm going to enhance it because to make the image more clearer when I'm going to add it to my projects or what I'm working with. Sorry, we'll just let that load. I think it's done. Let's see. So I'm going to try copying the image. And pasting it on the projects. Our skill. See, I probably use it. Let's see. It seems the image is not that it's not that clear. So I'm going to try scaling it more. While this is going on, let me work with what I have here. So for example, this is just like a blank, let's say, blank website. I'm going to try adding bunch of stuffs here to make it look a little bit more presentable, like a normal website. So I'm going to go ahead and add something like, let's see, I'm going to try adding like a home bar, like let's say tax bar, and something like home, about, stuff like that. I'm going to increase the size to 30. So we can work with that. I'm going to home. I'm going to add that. Yeah. I'm going to try changing the font to make it pop up a little bit more. Let's see, I'm going to add something like NASA news. So I mean, what is a NASA website without an actual logo? So I'm just going to try taking that off Google. Let's see, NASA logo. I'm going to take the first image that pops up. Copy image. Sorry about that. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the right, to the left-hand corner. Then I'll go ahead and add NASA news, probably other planets, like, let's see, like Earth. Go ahead, add, let's see, Mars. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and add something, another planet, like let's see, Jupiter. And I'm just going to stop there, because let's see, and add something like about, to end it. I mean, sorry. Thought about. I'm going to try centralizing everything so it looks good. I'm going to go ahead and reduce this. Sorry. Check this out. Pretty much too much. Sorry about that. I'm just going to work with what I have, but I don't know. It's not increasing the quality of the image. I don't know what's wrong. It's something I've worked with before and it's not working currently. I don't know why. Then right here in the middle, I can go ahead. Add something like fly me to the or something like, let's say, explore the extraordinary every day, like something catchy. I'm going to try put that here, and scale up the font size to something like 60. Right. I'm just trying to capitalize. I'm going to try and capitalize everything. I hope this is good. I'm going to try centralizing it so it stays in the middle. And maybe, let's see. I'm going to try. Something like, let's leave that here for now. I might come back to change it. Then I would want to go down here. I think everything is coming a little bit together. Try changing this, reduce a little to like, let's say 50. think this is okay. And I'm going to add a little bit blur effect on the image. To make it look darker. So I think things are a little bit coming together a little bit. I'm going to try moving this more to the side. And this to centralize it. Then I'm going to move on to like the next slide. The next slide, I want this slide to contain things like, let's say about NASA, the probably the missions they've completed, things that people would want to see about NASA. So I'm going to be using colormind.io. So I'm going to try explain a little bit about colormind. Colormind basically it contains like let's say infinite combination of colors that you might really want to use. Probably the site you are working on or the project you are working on, you currently don't know what the colors that you want that would mix with what you want or something like that. So I'm just going to try. I'm looking for a like something darker, like a darker brown, instead of me going directly to this to color to try looking for colors to select and probably sliding my my icon through my cursor through the color selection to know which one is going to fit or not. Color mind is just going to do that for me straight up. So let's just go to like find one that's really good. Sorry, trying to get something that's I haven't really found one yet. Oh, the colors are a little bit brighter. Let's say I'm going to be going with this. All you have to do is just to select the color code from the website and go ahead, input the color here. And see. With just that one move, we already have color like that. So, so I'm going to use, so I want to introduce like a plugin, something that the plugin basically uses ChatGPT's API. I didn't mention that when I was presenting because it's basically API bots inside Figma. So the name is Figma GPT. You can go find it. Probably if you search for it on Figma plugins, you'll find it there. You just try running it. It's going to ask you to select an API from copy your API from ChatGPT. You can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to ask it to give me like, so let's say I'm going to tell it I am design. I'm working on a design for the new NASA web site. Well, sorry, website. Sorry. SIT. Let's say for the new NASA website, and I want you to give me details about it, about NASA in general. As I said before, I would want the more information you put into it, the more prompts you add to it, the more solid your answers are going to be. So I'm going to say something like let's say distance. Let's see, and details about the moon. Its distance, sorry, size, and other information. So I'll just sit and let that run. And you can also okay. So if let's say if this doesn't work, I'm going to try using ChatGPT directly. I don't know why it's failing me right now. So I'm just going to put the prompt into ChatGPT directly and run it. So I don't want it. So I'm going to ask it to make, because the slides might not have enough space to input all the information. I'm going to ask it to make so it has given us NASA is a US government agency possible for space exploration. So this is like a little bit short. So I'm just going to add more about NASA. So I'm going to go here and add the text, something like this. I'm going to be using this format. So I'm going to tweak it a little. So say NASA. going to make the text a little bit more bolder. And I'm going to select the text from, I'm not going to select everything because it's a little bit much, but I'm going to select just a little out of it. And I'm going to go ahead and probably paste that out here so I can add it. When you paste the text, it's going to give you in a like straight line. You'll be the one to have to like start editing it. It's not just going to give you the way you copied it. So I'm going to try reducing everything back to, let's see, let's give it 20 for the font size and remove it from black. Let's say a little bit regular, increase into 35. I think you can work with that. Try changing the color too. It seems it's still a little bit, let me reduce it, but it seems like the text is still a little bit much. It's 25, say 25. Okay, I think I'll work with it. I'm just going to try and remove something like this, a little bit of this from it. Then I'm going to work with this. I'm going to go ahead and add it like an headline for the next slide. I'm going to make that stay on the side here. Okay, it will be more clear. After this, I'm going to go ahead and add, let's see, like I'm going to add a line to separate it from other things I'm going to be adding. Let's see. I'm going to try centralizing this. Seems that like it's not. Sorry. This here. I'm going to add the last one. So I don't really like the way these lines are popping up. it's not going with, I'm not really enjoying it. So I'm going to try reducing this to like one, probably one. I'm going to do that for everything. So I'm going to try reducing it to one. So it's a little bit better. Yes. Then I'm going to go ahead add something like, let's see, copy, go to this here. Let's see, 80 plus. Emissions. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the size. Sorry. So let's see, 50, because it seems like it's bigger than the line itself. And I want this mission to be a little bit smaller than the rest. Let's see, I'll put that on 30 and a little bit less bold. So basically, I can go ahead and keep designing and adding screens and maybe using AI and implementing probably ChatGPT. I can even probably go ahead and see. I mean, I talked about how ChatGPT. Let me try if I can pull that up. How ChatGPT can help in AI competitive audits, creating personnel, streamlining the process, interview question. For example, if you are working in an organization in, let's say, a food delivery, you're probably working on a food delivery app and you want to create a competitive audit, you might say, let's see, I think I have a prompt here, something I've already worked with before. Let's see if I can pull that up. Or let's just do that normal. You can see create a competitive audits for a fast food restaurant. It's going to go ahead and spit out some informations like let's say Uber Eats, other fast food apps like Uber Eats, GrabUp, DoorDash, Postmates. You can see their key features, strengths, and you can really, as a UI UX designer, you can really use this information. Let's say we want to use this information probably to leverage it in probably in the company's design process. We can see how ask ChatGPT how can we use this information sorry, to of design. Sorry about this. And it's going to go ahead and like spit type out. You can see it has mentioned things that we can implement in our design process, probably the user interface, restaurant options, delivery options, promotion and loyal program, payment options, and some other things. You can ask it to go on and it will keep mentioning that. So because of our time, I'm going to try, because if I say I should continue design, I'm going to take most of the time. So I'm going to show you something similar, something I've already worked with the AI image generation and color selection. You can see this. Um, this is like a complete work. I don't know. You can see um, the information I added to the information I was trying to add to recently, the distance and some other stuff. See the image AI has generated and some else and for the coloring and all. So for next, I'm going to be talking about UIZ. I don't know if most of us have heard of UIZ. UIZ is like a design app, just like Figma. Design app, just like Figma. It's boy, it's like how will I put it, like a better version of Figma because it has other AI advantage, like turning your wireframe into movable edits or other stuff. Let's say, for example, we are trying to design a lookalike for Instagram homepage. Let's say I'm going to try pulling off screenshots, screenshots from Instagram. Instagram homepage. This is, see, I'm going to try selecting some images. I'm going to just go with the first one. Let's see this. So I'm going to try uploading, drag and drop the image from Google down to the, and see how well it turns this image, I mean a screenshot, into um, a movable design. I'm going to try selecting another screenshot. Sorry. You can see that everything here is a little bit movable. You can go ahead and change everything, but it's giving me like a desktop site. So I'm going to go ahead and try using something that is a little bit straight. and not in a desktop setting. Let's say this. Let's try draw again here. So okay, this is better. It's processing. So we can all see here that this is just a screenshot from Google, and it has basically turned every single thing. I mean, if we are familiar with Figma, we know for me to like design this something like this from scratch, it's going to really take like, let's say a while, and it has done that for me. Basically, I can just go ahead and edit the images or change other the layout or something, but it has done every other thing for me. I can just go ahead and remove the images that are there, and I think this can like change the whole. For example, if you're trying to like probably copy a something that someone has done before, let's say to implement it in your design process, you can just go ahead and screenshot it, probably bring it to UIZ and select the components that you need from it. And for the wireframe aspect, let's just try and do this. You can go ahead and I have some wireframes on my phone that I'm going to try and put copy on UIZ and see how well it converts this into an editable design. So it's already loading. And it's actually really easy for those that would want to just upload probably wireframes from their phone directly to UIZ. From their phone directly to UIZ, it's you just have to scan the QR code and upload it. Import. See how well it turns this into a movable design. We'll just started this process. Yeah, see, we can go ahead and change the images, but it just give us image, just normal images, like the generic images. You can go ahead and change the images or change the settings to make it fit what we actually want to do. But you can see here it has really converted digital drawn, a digital driven wireframe into a movable design, something that you can edit. So that will be all for this section. I think I've really covered a lot on how um, AI can help in the design process, from the design process to the color selection process. And even though I didn't show us an example, it can also help in creating interview question. You can use that with ChatGPT, asking ChatGPT to create a interview question for you and all. So I will be taking questions now if anyone has one. I don't know. Sorry, can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can. If anyone has any question, you can go ahead now and ask your questions.
I think there's no question, so I'm going to go ahead and hand over to Samuel.
Okay. Amazing session, Favor. Thank you very much. I mean, that was really exciting. Like, I've gained a lot. I mean, you guys had sounds like an amazing tool from just the description you've given. So, since we don't have any questions so far, I guess maybe it's time for us to attempt some quiz, right? If you're familiar with Kahoots, just head over to kahoots.it, right? So for the game session, you can win a LinkedIn premium voucher subscription for a year, or an Xbox um, pass ultimate, right, for 3 months. So a 3 month subscription for that. So can head up now to kahoot.it and join in with this game pin that it would load up now. Try to join in on your PC. If you're not using your PC, try to change it to desktop mode so that you can see the questions. So you don't have to like switch between this meeting and coming back. So that's the pin 3740587. 3740587. I'm waiting for others to join in, and then we can get started. Hey, have Kenan in. All right, 3740587. 3740587. I'm waiting for others to join in, and then we get started. Okay, just wait for a few more people joining, and then we'll get started. Yeah. If you're joining on your PC, you don't have any issues. If you're joining on your mobile, try to change to desktop mode so that you're able to see the questions. Waiting for others to join in. Everyone can join in, everyone can play. 374, in case you are not getting the pin, 3740587. 0587. Okay, so we just wait a few more seconds, just a few more, round up. Yeah, we've spent a lot of time here already, and I appreciate all those that have stayed with us so far. So let's wrap it up with this game session. Maybe one more person join, and then we'll get started. Can we have one more person? Okay. All right. Let's have it. So here we go. Let me see if someone else still wants to join. Let me just wait a bit more. All right, we'll go. Okay, so we have our first question. How can AI benefit UI UX designers? How can AI benefit UI UX designers? I mean, I'm seeing some very interesting options here. Hmm. Okay. Almost everyone got that right. That's cool. Okay. Okay. So for those that still want to join in, that's a pin. I've unlocked it, right? 3740587. So you can still join in while we continue. Hmm. What do you need to leverage ChatGPT to create a portfolio website? Okay. All right. To be specific, to be very, very specific, prompt engineering is the best term to describe what you want to do with ChatGPT. All right. Okay. We have Soto up top. Okay. Soto is still taking the lead. All right. That's nice. That's nice. UI is just like you just said, um, from sketches, screenshots, whatever, you can create interactive prototypes, right? Your designs, your whatever it is with UI is add here. Let's go on. Oh, Kenan is up top now. I see. Um, like I said, you can still join in. The game pin is here, 3740587. Hey, I mean, almost all of us got that right. That's nice. Let's see. Oh, Soto is back up. Ah, nice. Okay. So, okay. Nice. Almost, maybe half of us got that right. So I think majority of us know what personas are, right? So like a representation of people trying to like describe people in a way and create things tailored to them. That kind of thing. So you can do that with ChatGPT, right? Um, okay, Soto is still up top. Wow, streak of 6 correct answers. That's a lot. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Soto widening the gap. Okay, let's see what we have. What is Figma UI toolkits? Okay, seems like I hope my questions are not too cheap because it seems like almost everyone is getting them right. All right, you need high experience in web development to create a website with ChatGPT. What could the answer be? Wow, everyone got that right. Okay, I guess that was an easy one. Uh, Soto. Hey, okay. What level of design expertise is required to use Microsoft Designer? Can it be intermediate or beginner? Probably expert or advanced? What could the answer be? Well, okay, beginner level actually, right? Anyone can just create a design, a simple design with prompts, basically, and that's what you use. That's what you can use a Microsoft Designer to do, and then edit, make tweaks to whatever you want to do, also with the Microsoft Designer. So for our 11th question out of 13, says which of these language was used to create the website in Kenan's session? What language? What language? Okay, I mean, majority of us were in that session. I mean, and I believe we all love that. Creating a portfolio website, a full for portfolio website from scratch with ChatGPT, and then we use one of the languages used was React.js among others. So wow, Soto is still up. This leaderboard is not changing. Let's see if something can happen between Olumuyiwa and Hai. Okay, it allows for seamless transition from design to development, right? So using the UI toolkit in the Power Apps, you can easily convert your designs to applications, web applications, mobile applications. It's that simple and straightforward, right? So, and then for our final question, okay, seems like Olumoyiwa and Hai have nothing to compete for. Let's see if something changes in the last question. For our final question, right? Wow, I just knew it. I said this right before the question. That was such a lazy expo from me. Well, that's nice. Let's see the final leaderboard, right? Um, Olumiwa. Okay, I think Kenan. Then what's up top? Soto. That's nice. That's nice. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we have High coming fourth and HJ coming fifth. Thanks, everyone, for
Samuel, I think you're muted again.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you hear me when I was talking about the leaderboard?
No. Oh yes,
We got
yes.
the
you
leaderboard,
got-
and that's it.
The final leaderboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we have HJ. Let me just get back to that. We have HJ. We had HJ and High coming fourth and fifth, and then this is the final leaderboard, right? And then yeah, I can say we've come to the end of the game session and then the end of this event. So if you have any final remarks, right, or questions, you can let them know now. Yeah, right about now, and then we'll end it. Or are we reserving our questions for maybe Twitter or LinkedIn? Any question at all? Maybe from using, okay, someone already asked on using Microsoft Designer. Maybe questions as regards prompt engineering for creating the website, ChatGPT, or any question as regards using any of the two, maybe UIZard or ColorMind for UI UX designs. Okay, seems like the moderators or the speakers were amazing. So no questions at all. Everything was clearly understood, which is quite beautiful. Thank you very much, Hinan, for making our time for this event. Thank you, Favor. Thank you, everyone, for making our time to join. We've come to the end, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. This was super fun. Take care.
Thank you.